Alright guys, I'm back with another update. I mentioned in the comments that I was actually very happy with today's price action, and I'll show you guys why. We were trading in a consolidation range from Jan 10th until January 13th, until they brought us down to in this final leg to the bottom at 85 on January 24th. And so this move down left a resistance level right before the move down started at just about the 122 area. So we had to find buyers. We find buyers at about the 85 area and come back up to test the resistance level, but we fell a little short, and so we had to come down to find buyers again. So we came down, bottomed a little higher than the previous bottom, found buyers, and came back up to test the resistance level again, but again fell short. So we come down one more time to find buyers, and we bottom at 95, which right then and there was a pretty good indication that this was what we're going to see next. So we find buyers, we move back up to test the resistance. We struggled with it for a couple of hours yesterday, which is very normal. It's very normal because this downtrend was just about 27 days, and so it's not going to break just like that in a couple of minutes. This morning they pushed us down in pre-market, and today is when we really cleanly broke above it. Now, a very healthy move in stocks in any price action that you would want to see after breaking out of a resistance that lasted just about a month is flipping the previous resistance into support. And so if this 122 support, 122 previous resistance can now act as support for the stock, most likely we're looking at another big move up, whether it be tomorrow if we can stay above this 122 area, or dip down but then come up really strong. And if we do that, we can come up tomorrow and we can move up the entire next week, because there ain't much resistance until a whole lot higher than this level. So what the indicators are showing me in the last couple of minutes of trading, the QQE flipped long, and the Boom Hunter Pro showed a lot of buying pressure coming in the last half hour. And when the green circles, the buying pressure crosses through the red cloud, it shows that selling pressure is weakening and buying pressure is increasing. And so, especially because this happened at the 122 area, it looks to me it looks to me that there's a really good chance that we now flip the 122 resistance into support, and that will set us up for a really good week next week. And then in terms of cycles, so at this point, we're clearly not following the August cycle anymore, but honestly, it's a good thing. And it's a good thing because the August cycle was actually the weakest cycle out of all four. And so I'm actually really happy about this. And now the question is, so what will this cycle look like? Again, I'm convinced we're done with the downtrend. We're looking to move up right now. The question is how. So I'm going to compare this situation where we are now, which is we got to the lowest point since all the way back to the second run-up that we had. And what struck me about this chart was a similarity that we saw in the yearly chart on this other stock. And I'll show you how it looks like. So there was a run-up in January, another run-up in Feb, and another run-up in March, until pretty much a slow walk down until they got it down to the lowest point that they can possibly bring it before it started moving up in a pretty strong uptrend. Once the strong uptrend lasted for a while, it was able to explode higher, came back down to retest a couple of levels, and that's when the stock went up 700%. Looking back at GME, since March, it was pretty much a slow walk down, and this 85 level looks to be the lowest level that they were able to bring us. We're already back in an uptrend, so I do believe this was the lowest possible level that they were able to bring us to. And so what I'd be looking for now is to just start a steady uptrend. We don't need any 20% days, we don't need any 30% days, we just got to start moving up. I believe that Monday to Friday next week will be mostly green, we're going to move up pretty nicely. I don't have a specific price target for next week, but as long as we can maintain a strong uptrend for next week, Feb OPEX, which is on the 22nd, should be the week that takes us above this upper line resistance. And when that happens, I would expect us to break up, come back down to retest the trend line one last time, and from there, most likely test new all-time highs by maybe end of March, possibly April. But that we'll see how that goes later. But for now, I'd expect a continued uptrend, especially if we can flip the 122 area into support, and then a sharp move higher into the week of OPEX. Another stock that gives a good example of what we could be looking at is BRN. I know a lot of people on Superstonk were looking at this for comparison. So there was a run up in January, another run up in Feb, and another run up in March. And ever since March, it was basically a slow walk down until they got it to its lowest possible point. And when that happened, it went into an uptrend like that. And once it established a strong uptrend, that's when it exploded. That's when it made its much stronger move up. And so I really do think that's what we can now be seeing for us. So I'm not going to really give a timeline for this, but I believe that as long as we can make a steady uptrend over the next week, then the week after that we should be primed for a much bigger move up and one last retest of this upper line support level before moving significantly higher. That's all for today.